So we're on Think About You from Guns N' Roses, possibly one of the two most unplayed tracks on the whole album. I don't think there's one live video available of this, which is so blurry that you can't really make out anything. So I've made a few kind of executive decisions about what fingers to use. This is also an Izzy-led track, so Izzy Stradling kind of wrote the main lick for this one, and you can hear his influence with this sort of very similar to Paradise City. And that was one of his parts in that, of course. So yeah, we're going to dive into this because there's a lot we can still learn. But just before we get going, make sure you have liked and subscribed, like we always like to say here. But also, if you could think about the membership, 99p a month. It's almost nothing. It's a quarter of a cup of coffee, I think, if you're having a medium. But anyway, if you can do that, it really helps us out. But let's dive in now as we continue our Appetite for Destruction playthrough with Think About You. So I've notated it like this, with the drums on the first 4 dead notes. So this is drums. And then the guitar has a dead note before hitting that double 9th fret. There's a few ways you can play this one, but to get the palm muting effect, I think you're best to do double the 9s, then double the 7s with your first finger, do an up, and then palm mute the next note. So it's a nice little sequence, that. So that's quite straightforward. You just walk it down, 7s, 5s, and then you land on the 3rd fret here. And then 3rd finger, double bend on the G and B string, and then release. Make sure you hit that 5th on the D string with a 2nd finger, because you're going to then do this. 5th and 6th frets with the 3rd and 4th finger and a little bend. And you need to hit that 5th again with the 2nd finger because you're about to jump up to the sort of held note. And then you get like that. Or there's the sort of secondary guitar line. So after this note is held, you also hear and then you hear the return down to one of the loosest and sort of messiest 12-bar blues sections, but it's quite nice, really. There's a lot of sort of muted notes, some slightly astray picks, which we don't mind at all. Just kind of makes it a little bit more interesting, I guess. So we have this lead-in section here, which is just before the start of bar 6, where you get a power chord, and then you have to stretch out with the 1st and 2nd finger. So let's just talk about it then. So as you change up to the open string, you're going to switch it up to doing the 1st and 3rd finger. So, and then there you have to do a replacement. And then this is probably the most interesting bit. It's very Motley Crue, girls, 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 sliding around. You slide from the 4th to the 5th frets, and then do that again. So 3rd finger, then 1st finger. And what happens in this next bit is you get a sort of G power chord with the 2nd finger muting out the A string. It's definitely that open G rather than a bar chord or anything like this. It's too involved. You need to just be able to go. So we start off in the same way that the track starts off. And then we have these bends, like sort of Johnny B. Good stuff. And then it flies up all the way to this 15th fret. Very Slash-esque line there. So you have the 15th fret, you've got to go there with the 4th finger. 4th finger again, this is what Slash tends to do if he's doing this movement. 4th finger bars across, so. So bar the 4th fret, I do down, up, down, down. And then down there, up. Then this is interesting. Love that little lick there. Then we're landing on the 7th fret stubbled. Let's move to the 10th. And then you have this same outro again. As we dive straight back into verse 2. So let's continue now with verse 2. Again, nothing too different about this compared to verse 1. It's almost identical, except there's a few kind of guitar licks over the top. So we've got. And then this is one of those little licks where you get. So that's how that little lick plays out there. I mean, it sounds better if you just separate it out completely from the verse and don't sort of try and mix it and match it in amongst it. That's how it was recorded anyway. Then you've got this little turnaround in bar 21 if we jump forward. So. That's a little bit different to last time. Then you've got this other chugging along rhythm with the power chord. And you get the same thing as before. So I would turn the distortion off for this bit if you have the option. Put on a chorus pedal. Just to kind of simulate a little bit of the sound that you get with the 12-string steel, although it's never quite the same. We're still on the bridge pickup, and I've turned the distortion off. This is just a kind of simulation of the sound that I'm trying to get, and we're looking for something like this. It's not as hard as I actually initially thought it was. It's an open E string that rings throughout. Then you've got the 4th fret on the G. You can use your 3rd finger for that. And then the 3rd fret on the B, which is a 2nd finger. Now, there are lots of picking patterns available. I've done one on the tab for you. Down, up, 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 down. So that's the chorus section there. Once you've managed to get it down, I think it really helps to have that picking pattern. It ends with an E, D, E. And then we're on to the bridge section, which we'll just cover off now. Turn that chorus off, distortion back on. So obviously this was done in the recording. There's sort of no real live performances of this available. We're on this bridge here. And then below you have the chords that kind of do this. And then they sort of rise up. In the solo part, we have a sort of flat first finger like we have had for most of the track. And then we have this unusual line where we go to the 14th fret. And then underneath you get, and then you have this over the top. I'd probably do it all downs if I were you. Then we land on this 4th fret G string, massive vibrato. And then we carry on into bar 40. Now, I'm pretty sure that's a wrong note because it then fades out and another take kind of overrides what happens there, just right at the end of bar 40 with that 5th fret But then you've got, I'm guessing, Izzy, because it's a very non-slash line coming in with this chromatic. So you end on the fourth finger there, if you do alternate picking on an up pick. And then I think you move to the first finger. Same again, replace. And then we're back up to the next line here. Continue the weirdness of the solo. Second finger over. Slide. And underneath you hear this. So this time when we carry on with the verse, it's slightly different because we have a kind of slower pace to things. There's a few more basically quavers in there than semi-quavers. So we get this repeat. And then we have this little lick here. The little pinch harmonic back into this. And then we have this little turnaround. Again with the open strings in bar 53. Then we have this power chord, second finger only, muting out the note's rhythm. Then we're back to the chorus. We're only going to keep running through it because we've done the chorus before. So we turn off the distortion. We have the chorus pedal on, and we do third finger on the fourth fret. So we have the 7th fret single finger bar, third finger, and then we have a 9th fret bend here, and then we have to go up to this 10th fret, and then we're on the 8th fret. And then what we do is we jump up to the 10th fret with our doubled 4th finger, so we don't have to do too much of a stretch. That's quite hard to play that 7th with the bend. Unless you're kind of already lurking on that finger. Then we're back to doing this. And then we're back to doing this double bend here. And then it ends with our 12-string guitar. So we've got to change back over settings if we're doing this in a live performance version to the chorus. And we're doing this B minor chord, but we're leaving the top E open. So we're going to do... We're going to use the third finger next, so you've got to do a little jump over from your normal bar position. An open string there on the D. Third finger again. And then the electric guitar does this little slide here, so you've got to change over. I'd do a slide on the first finger actually. And then the electric guitar slides up to the 14th fret, whereas this steel string, 12 steel string, does this chord. And that's how we end the madness for Think About You here on How to Play Guitar. A pretty tough song there. Some really interesting stuff in there, which is a little bit weird. But, you know, it's nice to have an acoustic 12-string steel guitar in amongst the mix for Guns N' Roses. So thank you for watching this. Do become a member if you like the Guns N' Roses stuff. We're still working our way through Appetite for Destruction. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 more tracks left on the album here. We've got a kind of mega mix of side 1 of the album. The whole lessons, 2 hours worth of lessons available, so that's up there now. But membership makes a big difference to us. Subscribing, liking, clicking on those notifications, all the special stuff in this animation really helps us out. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time as our series continues, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one.